Hey guys, and welcome to the Alternative Movement Podcast. My name's Craig, your host, and we talk everything adaptive training. Today, we are joined by CrossFit athlete, Charlotte Coburn. Did pronounce your surname right, didn't I?
You did, yeah. Well,
fantastic. I'll panic for a second now. Cool. Thank you so much for joining me today. Taking the time to come and speak about yourself, about training, about adaptive training. Yeah.
My favourite subject.
Yeah, it's my favourite subject as well. I'm a coach, so I've been coaching all day. I've been talking nothing but fitness all day. And this is what I decide to do in my free time as well. And in my free time when I go and train later on. So I'm sure you're the same.
Love it.
Awesome. Charlotte, let's start off with the main question and find out why you're here today and a little bit about yourself. Do you want to give the introduction?
I don't know.
Have I put you on the spot now? Yeah, just tell me a little bit about your background, what you do, where you're from.
Well, I'm an adaptive athlete, so that's the first bit. I've recently done the CrossFit Games, and I've been into like adaptive CrossFit for like 2 years. Before that, I've actually done like bodybuilding shows. So
wow, okay.
My background as well.
That was one of my next questions. Have you always been into CrossFit? Bodybuilding?
Yeah.
Wow. So I think
I'm very like confused by it. To be fair, I've not posted like much about it recently.
Yeah.
But I did it for 2 years. So I did 10 shows in 2 years.
10 shows. Wow.
10 shows.
That's amazing. But I think that's the thing though, I think for most guys, when they get into fitness, it's generally the bodybuilding route they go down. It's like, you sort of, you push-pull days, chest and back, your sort of bodybuilding style programs. And I think for some of the lucky ones, we sort of go off maybe into functional training, CrossFit, stuff like that, where you can have the benefits of bodybuilding, but at the same time, be really fit and eat whatever you want.
Exactly. Yeah. Like all the benefits of the CrossFit stuff.
So what got you into bodybuilding?
So I basically started at the gym down the road from me, and a few of the girls from there were doing shows. And at the time I wanted to be a PT, and I instantly thought, oh yeah, be a PT, step on stage, great idea.
Great publicity.
When you see the photos, it'd be great. And all that. And I actually quite enjoyed it. So I just kept doing them for 2 years. And then after doing the 2 years, after the last show, I was a bit like, I kind of want to change, I want to go with CrossFit a little bit. And then I was kind of hooked on that instead.
I think CrossFit gets a lot of bad rap, especially in the bodybuilding industry, and especially it's obviously growing a lot more in the UK now. It's really big in America, obviously, as we know.
Yeah.
But in the UK, it's definitely gaining massive traction over here. And I know during my career as a PT, sort of developing, it's always like you'd come up to someone and say, "Oh, I do a bit of CrossFit," and they'd always like go, "Oh, shit form and like kipping pull-ups, you're going to do yourself an injury." And I'm like, "No, you got to let me explain. It's the sport. It's how sport works. Like there's always risks in sport." And but
well, like any normal bodybuilder, I was a bit like, just looks a bit stupid, CrossFit, didn't want to try it at all. I was a bit scared of it, to be honest. I feel I was just not going to be able to do it. So I think I was a bit like, I don't like it, don't want to do it. I'm a bodybuilder, I'm not a CrossFitter. And then I realised like the style of training that I was actually doing and I was really enjoying was very similar to CrossFit. So I ended up just going and trying a class, and here we are.
Wow. So you, what gym do you train out of?
It's Stone CrossFit.
Okay.
It's in Ashton.
Have you been there for quite a while?
Yeah, nearly 2 years, almost.
Wow. So you're enjoying it then?
Oh yeah, I love it. Yeah. I think sorry, I do waffle on a lot.
No, go for it. Please do. That's what this whole show's about. It's about talking. So if you didn't talk, it would be like.
I basically like through the lockdowns and stuff, I just did like their class. They did like a Zoom class every day, and I was doing that every day, and I was finding it really hard to do like bodybuilding training. It was just really hard to motivate myself to do it. So I was just signing into this class and just doing it all the time, and it's what kept me very consistent and kept me still doing things rather than just being sat around doing nothing like I wanted to. So I think over time, like when I first started, I was still trying to do the bodybuilding training as well as CrossFit as well, and I was getting like 2 sessions in every day for like 5 days a week. And then when that happened, it kind of switched to just doing CrossFit, and I found that I actually really enjoyed that more, and bodybuilding was getting a bit like straining to do. Like I didn't want to do it.
Yeah, it can become quite tedious. I found bodybuilding, like that's obviously how I started. I got into the industry like I must do this exercise, I must be a bodybuilder. That's the only route to fitness. And then you sort of find after a while the programming can be quite the same over and over again. So like, and
you had like the same program for like 8 weeks. And obviously you were supposed to progress in that program, but I just found it just annoying that like push pull legs, but I think I was doing push pull legs, but like quads one day, hamstrings another day, and then glutes another day. So it was literally like 3 leg days and then 2 upper body days, and oh my god, I just
and it can be very lonely as well, unless you've got like a good consistent training partner, which I've yet to find. It was predominantly training on your own. You'd go into the gym, you do your workout, you go home, and that's it. Exactly. And obviously, especially if you're competing as well, on top of that, like the nutrition, huge side of things. I mean, don't get me wrong, any athlete or someone that's competing would have to have a certain element of their nutrition. But I feel like I like the fact I like about CrossFit is it's not the focus. You know what I mean? I'm sure people will help you. Some of the coaches will guide you on the nutrition, but it's not like that's the end all and be all of the training. And with CrossFit, it's a lot more flexible. I like to say flexible in the program, and it can be a little bit more creative. Obviously, it does follow similar patterns to, you do get you some functional bodybuilding within CrossFit. You get obviously your strength training, your gymnastic movements, but it's just as a package more. It's more than bodybuilding.
I was speaking to our coach the other day, and I was just saying that like even in like the CrossFit programming, I can tell like what there's gonna be. So say all week we've done like say we've done squats one day, we've done cleans another day, we've done something like maybe on the rig another day, and I kind of think, right, we've got 2 more days, well 3 more days, but we do a team mod usually. So 2 more days, like one of these days is going to have a bit of handstands in. Like we've got to have either handstands, press ups, or handstand like walks or something like that. And then another day might be like a cardio day, for instance, like where you just do a long cardio piece. But he was like quite relieved that like I could kind of guess what was going on each week, and like it's like progressing as we go along. Like it's not like just randomly like, oh yeah, we're going to be doing this.
There's a formula. There's a formula to it.
Yeah, and he was like, I'm glad that you've noticed it, and I was like, well, here I am. So,
hey, star.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well done you. But with bodybuilding, like it is like reps of 16, 12, 8. And you literally do that over
and then back again.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas this, it's like one week you could be doing, right, find a heavy 2 reps, and then another week you might be doing like, oh, do 5 reps for 5 rounds or something like that. And it's, even though you're doing the same exercise, it's 2 different completely different stimuluses.
Yeah.
Which is,
so it's very similar to like conjugate training, where it's like it's just changing an element of the movement. So like you might be doing front squats one week, the next week you're doing front squats but on a box, or you're doing a slightly different stance, or you may be doing front squats as opposed to doing it off the rack, you're doing it from a clean, so you power clean it, 5 front squats. So it's just always having that adaptation to sort of like push for stimulus, and
that's what I found really interesting about it, because it's never doing the same thing week on week. Like, yeah, we're probably doing a similar sort of movement, but it's never exactly the same as the week before. So that's quite nice. But
it's always slightly changed.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's the main thing. You sound very passionate about it. So you said you wanted to be a PT. Are you a PT now?
I am.
There's a but. Where's the but?
There is a but. I've done it for a year.
Okay.
And I've just basically decided that I don't think it's for me. So
really,
yeah. So when I got back from the games, I got back on the Monday, and on the Tuesday, I actually quit my job
as a PT.
Yeah.
Wow. So where was you?
Quit being myself. So
yeah.
All right.
So where?
I had to say bye to all my clients and stuff, which is a bit. Yeah.
Wow. So where was you working? Was you working at the gym you train at, or was it?
So I was working at the bodybuilding gym that I basically did all my shows from. It's literally like I'm pointing this way because it is in this direction.
Just over there.
It's this
oh,
way.
I know what that is. Yeah, I know what you're on about.
And it's like an 8-minute walk away from me, so it's very local. But sorry, I don't know why I keep saying it all the time.
It's fine. It's fine.
You got to take a drink every time I say it.
I've run out of coffee.
I know, yeah, I was only joking. Yeah, there we go again.
Did it again. It's fine. I'm marking this down on my paper, by the way. I've got quite a few on there. It's all right. I'll do it as well. I listen back to the recording. I'm like, oh, I've said 1,000 times. I've said this.
Yeah, I'm basically doing all my CrossFit training, and after we've been to the games, I kind of was like, I kind of want to take it a little bit more seriously. Like,
yeah,
I can't speak. I basically just completely
take your time. Although you've got 30 seconds to finish this bit so we can move on to the next bit. I'm joking, it's fine.
I've been taking it seriously. I'm not like a person who just turns up to class and just pisses about. I do take it seriously, but I thought I wanted to take it to the next level. Like, I want to be able to maybe go to the games again, be a bit competitive, like within the adaptive category, rather than coming last at every event. And I've also been doing rowing as well. So I do it on the water at Salford Quays.
Wow, cool.
So I'm doing like the Paralympic pathway. So hopefully one day I'll be able to go to the Paralympics.
Oh man, that'd be amazing.
Be a bit touch and go at the moment, but I'm trying. So doing rowing, and I've got to do obviously be on the machine twice, maybe 3 times a week. And I've got to do 4 water sessions over the weekend. And then doing CrossFit basically 5 days
in between those.
Well, and then in between that, I've been training other people. It's just, my life was just too much training.
And it's sort of, because you was working, training, do you feel like it was going to take a bit of the passion out for you?
Yeah, I felt like basically clients were paying me, and I just didn't feel like I was fully there.
Okay.
I felt like my mind was just wandering a little bit to I wonder what I'll train tonight, or do you know what I mean?
That's fair. I can admire that. I like that because you genuinely care about the service you're offering your clients.
I just felt like they were paying me, and I'm not fully there. I know there's a lot of PTs out there that are probably worse than me. I'm not saying that I was bad at all, but I just wanted to make sure that they were getting the best experience out of it. And I kind of just wanted a job where I can just go, just do my hours, and then I could come home and focus on my own training. I just wanted to be selfish for a little while. And PTing doesn't let you have that selfishness.
It takes a lot of your energy out of you, definitely. So I say for me, I've been coaching all morning since I've been up since 4, so I've been coaching since 6. Wow. And I just had some lunch a minute ago, so I had an hour gap between then and now. So and it does. I just sat down and thought, I don't think I can talk anymore. Because you do find yourself talking all that. I'm all right now. I've had a coffee. I'm fine. But
I just it does. The same story to everyone, which was not the worst thing in the world. But what was I even going to say then? It's not just you just doing the hours that you PT them and then that's it. They're gone.
No, it's outside.
You've got to literally be there all the time. if they message you like a question, you've still got to be there. Like it never seems to end, or like you're trying to promote yourself on different things, or you're trying to get more clients, and then when you're done with all them clients, then you've got to set new ones up, and then I just felt like it was just a bit too much.
Overwhelming.
And some people will probably look at me and think, wow, you've just thrown away everything, like you've had to
No,
I'm like,
not at all. Not at all. I mean, I always say to people, don't ever think because you've stopped doing one thing that there's not going to be something else, because you've stopped doing that for a reason, and you've got a very valid reason why you've done that, because you want to focus more on your training, which no, it's not selfish at all. And you want to, and you've got some goals. And if goals are not going to be met because you've got these other distractions, obviously these things we have to do like work, then sack it off. Sack it off. So have you got, go on, sorry.
Maybe one day I might go back to it. But at the moment, I just wanted to do this side, and then it's always there waiting for me. Like I've still always got the qualification. I've got it under my belt that I've done PT for a year. And I did enjoy it, but I just think it just took a lot of my time up. And
so what have you gone on to now?
Well, I'm currently not doing anything.
Okay.
But I have got something lined up. So
yeah. That's not me judging you, by the way.
I do just look like a bum at the moment, just sat at home.
So you're just training.
I've just been sat
drinking coffee.
Training, eating.
That sounds awesome.
Ever since the games, like I've basically been doing this for a month. But I basically got a job at Bupa. So I'm still I'm still within the health industry. But it's going to be like a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday job, so a bit more. And that's
with fitness you don't get 9 to 5. It's normally I couldn't even give you an hour reference, but it's Monday to Sunday. 6 a.m. to whenever.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you're right, you don't get that regular pattern either, because like for me anyway, one week will look very different to the next, and I have to sort of like fit in my sessions as and when I can. And even then, like I've been doing sessions or training or whatever, and my phone rings or a text comes up, I'll check it, it's like a client, I'm like, they've asked me a question, and I'll sit there back and forward. Before you know it, 20 minutes is gone, you're like, I've called down now.
Yeah.
I've not done my session, I've not completed it.
That's another thing that I like about CrossFit though, because they are classes, and you kind of like, you put your phone away. Like you never look at it the whole like hour session that you've got. It's just there. And then you have your hour, and then you go back to it. And that's like, I love it. That's one of the best things about it.
Yeah, you're in that environment, and you've got the program on the board. Because sometimes I know if I go into the gym, it's like, I can maybe mix this up. I don't really fancy doing this exercise today. Whereas you go into a CrossFit gym, like I'm just doing a drop-in session in a gym about 20 minutes down the road tonight at CrossFit 13. And I have no idea the programming. So I quite like that. I just rock up and go, we're doing this today. We're doing this today. And sometimes I'll go in there, like a couple of weeks ago, it was like ring muscle ups. And I'm not too great at ring muscle ups, to be honest. And I went in there, I was like, ring muscle ups, why? I was like, why have you come here? Oh, it's to get better at CrossFit. So it's like, okay, right, let's do some of the stuff you're crap at instead of just practicing all the stuff you're good at all the time.
Whereas if you knew what they were, you wouldn't have gone.
I might have maybe done something else, possibly. But no, it was great. Like I've got no ring muscle up, so but it's still good.
Successful.
I'll put that down to my bulking. I've put on an extra few kilos, so that's we'll put it down to that anyway. So what would be your plan? Do you think you would potentially go into coaching CrossFit?
I think if the opportunity arose, probably. Obviously you have to do is it level 1?
Yeah, you do. So you have your level 1, and then you have that for 5 years, unless you do your level 2, then that renews, and you have to do it every sort of, I think it's every 5 years. And then
I think I'd probably do it, like the coaching, the level 1, but I don't think I'd be like a regular coach. Like I'd probably do it here and there, but I don't think.
Yeah, like an evening thing, or
not
one class here and now.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think it'll be like Charlotte is a regular coach. Not at the moment, anyway.
No, that could be further down the line. As you say, you've got these goals at the minute.
Fall back on at the moment.
That's it. So next year, I'm assuming you're planning on competing next year?
I I am, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Obviously, we've got to qualify again, and I'm not sure how they're gonna do it. So there we go. We'll find out when the Open happens. Hopefully, that's if they tell us.
Fingers crossed. So what are some of the things you learned from the CrossFit Games you went to this year? A lot.
Yeah. To not go into it injured.
You was injured.
A little bit. I was all right actually, and I managed to do everything, which I was very pleased with. But I hurt my shoulder basically 9 weeks before the games, and I've never hurt it before. And for anyone who saw me like the 9 weeks going up to the games, I do apologise for how many times I moaned about my shoulder.
Was you that one in the corner of the room just?
It is almost the amount of times that I've said today. Like,
wow.
I must have been the moaniest person, and everyone must have been like, I just want to get away from that Charlotte. She's just so...
She's just bringing us down with her shoulder.
Always talking about this shoulder. So it was all right by the time we got there. But obviously with CrossFit, it's a lot of repetitive movements. So the conditioning maybe wasn't there as well as it could have been. So like one of the workouts, we had to do 42 push press with a 15 kilo dumbbell, which now feels like, oh yeah, it's absolutely fine. But at the time, I'd probably not pressed a dumbbell over like my head for 9 weeks. So, and I forgot how to push press. I had no idea what the hell a push press. Like I knew what to do, but you know, like where your body just doesn't want to go, and I just
it's just not syncing up.
I just kept push jerking, and he kept going no rep, and I was
no rep.
Damn it! I can't help it. It's not going right.
I think that was like my first experience in the CrossFit gym when I went there. I've never, but before I'd done CrossFit or even I heard about CrossFit, but you know, I went into the gym and I was doing burpees, and he kept going no rep, and I was like, what? I just did a burpee. He's like, no rep, no rep. He must have no repped about 20 burpees. It's a bar over burpees, but he's like, yeah, both your feet have got to leave the floor at the time. I was like, oh,
that is the
I hate CrossFit. I hate CrossFit.
That's so mean though for like your first session. And
first session, like, no rep, like 20 reps. I was like, oh no, screw this. I don't want to play CrossFit anymore. This is boring. This is lame.
So mean.
But
we
no,
don't do that in our gym. But that's one thing. That's just me moaning though. That I set myself up wrong. But probably like go for a run a lot more and swim.
A bit more engine work.
Yeah, like just get that cardio back up there. I think when I did the Open, I was a lot fitter than what I was when I went to the games. And that's just because I was doing my 2 rowing sessions every week. We were in lockdown as well. It was in like February, wasn't it? And we were still in lockdown. So I literally had my rowing machine in the conservatory, and I had like my 115 kilo dumbbell at home, and I was just doing my CrossFit workout at dinner time, and then doing like a row maybe 2-3 times a week. But it was all like high intensity, so my cardio was like proper up there when it was doing the Open. And then because I'd not done any of this in the lead up to the games, I just absolutely gassed out on pretty much everything. The heat was a little bit different, but it wasn't as hot as what I was expecting. Like I was thinking that I might have like passed out, but luckily it was quite warm here the week before we went, so it was kind of like climatizing myself that way. So that was good. What else? I think that's it. Just keep pushing.
So how did you find sort of like when you got there? Because obviously with the adaptive workouts, everyone's going to sort of tackle them slightly different. Now, was there sort of like a format of how you do a certain workout? Like you said, obviously dumbbell overhead press. Now, would you do it all with one arm? Was there any adaptations you made?
Yeah, so all of the things basically for our category was just one-armed. So everything was one-armed. We had to do ski at one point, and I had to do it one-armed. A one-arm ski.
How hard was that?
The calories don't go up as fast as when you
No, I can imagine they don't. You're just looking down like, what's going on?
I was literally like, come on. I had to like put my hand on my chest as well, because if not, I was literally going like this, pretending that I had both of them working. But yeah, it was just all single arm. I think it's something that they're obviously maybe going to work on. So in years to come, it might be a little bit different. But they tried to make it fair for like all the upper adaptive like people. So there's like some people where the arms up to here. So obviously they won't be able to use their arm at all. So they won't be
at all, yeah. Whereas you can sort of like use your arm to like you're doing like
I've got like
the bar.
Full length arm basically. It's just missing like my hand at the end. But then there was some more people in my category that had like a girl had a injured wrist, not like a permanent injury. I did make sure.
You just went and checked. I just pulled her wrist. Yes, definitely.
Yes, so hers was like a permanent injury to her wrist. So she like was exactly like both hands were there. And then another lady, she had like something with her shoulder, so her shoulder couldn't go up past here. So like it got stuck there, and then it doesn't go up any further. Like it must have been something to do with the shoulder joint. So obviously, say we did like toes to bar or pull-ups, she obviously wouldn't be able to do it because like she'd be like this practically, or I can't imagine that she'd be able to do like clean and jerk because maybe she won't be able to put her arm up. I don't know. I didn't really look into detail, but it was just the spectrum of like our category was quite wide. So I can see
there wasn't one size fits all. It's very much and when looking online for adaptive equipment, especially in the UK, there's not a great deal out there. And I think one of the reasons is because, as you said, there's that broad spectrum. Like someone that had the hand missing would be very different from someone from here to here to here, like the equipment they would use for a certain movement.
Exactly.
So it's like, how do you create something that would fit all them sizes, or would you create something individual, or would it be down to the athlete to create something?
It's weird. Like I don't know. I'm not really sure the answer. Obviously, like I've found my own ways around it, and I'm sure like other people have as well, that maybe have their arm like up to here or up to there, but it's just about finding it out for yourself. I'm not sure whether like, because I've been watching the Paralympics as well this week, and you've got like people in the same category that maybe got like a limb difference like me, that they're in the same category as people with like limited hip function, or like it's a minor injury. It's not like minor injury. It's a minor sort of like disability or whatever you call it. So they're all like put in one category. But then obviously the person with one hand would be maybe not benefiting, like say swimming for instance, like you won't be benefiting with the stroke here, but then you'd be benefiting with like the hip movement because your legs would be able to go, or you'd be able to push off the other side. So it's like some people benefit in some ways, whereas other people don't benefit in other ways. But the way that I'd probably look at it is, for instance, one of our workouts had GHDs, which I've never done before, so that was it. But then all the other categories had toes to bar. So we had GHDs because obviously some athletes won't be able to reach the bar to do toes to bar. So for me, I'm not the best at toes to bar, so I was quite relieved. But some people who can do toes to bar and can do all the gymnastics in my category were pretty gutted because they couldn't show off like their gymnastic skills. So is it a case of like not like scaling it, but say GHD is maybe easier, so maybe doing like 50 reps of GHDs to 30 toes to bar or something, and try and get that number like even that way? Or is it a case of like they're thinking of splitting up the category for the upper category? So
having like 2 different upper categories.
Yeah, so 1 point of contact or 2 points of contact.
Okay.
So I'd be a 2 point of contact basically. So I don't know how they'll do it. But
I quite like it, to be honest with you, because for me and what I do and the guys I work with, it's almost like everybody's, as we just said, everybody's slightly different, and I quite enjoy that puzzle. I quite enjoy figuring it out and being like, because it's all, don't get me wrong, I enjoy training sort of like your general population.
Yeah.
But there's always that same format with someone, whether it's weight loss, muscle gain, etc. And then with like an adaptive athlete or someone with an impairment, it's like, right, I've never seen this before. How do we tackle this? This is really exciting. And I think that's what element I enjoy about it.
I really enjoy it. Like, I enjoy helping out other people as well. A few of my like clients, I had them on Zoom, and they were just like people with similar limb difference to me, and they just kind of saw me and was like, oh, she's doing well, we'll have her, like she must know what she's doing. So I basically helped them out, and I really enjoyed it because like not everyone is the same as me, not everyone can do things exactly the same as me, even though we might have a similar limb difference. So it's kind of like trying to find different ways of doing it.
And did you find you picked up clients like that during the time? Did you find you had more general population, or was it?
So in the gym, obviously I had more general population, but because I was doing some online as well, like through Zoom.
Yeah.
A few people like messaged me that maybe seen me on like a few different pages and just asked for my help basically. I only have one of them now. I still do one client. She's my favourite, that's all. But all the rest are kind of not there.
Oh, well, you've said that on the podcast now, so all your other clients are going to be very disappointed.
It's not good.
Own it. Oh, cool. So how did you find, like, so with barbell movements? I've seen some of your Instagram videos. You have like an attachment with the hook on.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool. So like for cleans and stuff like that. But like in regards to like snatches,
it's something that we're still trying to figure out. Like,
yeah,
I was kind of hoping that once we'd gone to the games, like some people would maybe be in touch and be like, oh, I figured this out, try it this way. And I'd be like, oh my God, yes, thank you. But they haven't yet. I found a few people online, which has been quite handy. Excuse the pun. But, like they've done a snatch, say with the hook, which kind of really scares me because they kind of like jump it, like flip it over when it gets to the top. It's something I've yet to try. I've not yet.
It's a little bit scary, I guess, especially when you're attaching that the barbell to your hand, and it's like you haven't got the ability to let go, like a quick release or something like that, because if it goes wrong, it could go very wrong.
I have one which basically is like a few Velcro straps, and it attaches me to the bar, and that's how I basically do snatches at the moment, and it does work actually. But like you said, I am attached to the bar, so I'm very wary of the fact that it could go over my head that way. And I think that's what's stopping me getting the weight up, because of fear of doing that. Obviously, I don't want to injure myself. So like that's stopping me from doing that. But this girl, she's using like the hook that I basically used it for deadlifts, and I maybe tried to do it for rig work, but everything is like changed now. So she was using this hook for snatches. So obviously it's like that around the bar, and then obviously when she turns over her wrist at the top, it kind of flicks in, it kind of balances and
catches in the hook.
Yeah, and then she can literally dump it as well. I was like, okay, this is amazing. So, but I did try it and it fell out. So that kind of scared me a little bit. So I'm like, I don't really want to try it. But I have been doing using the hook for cleans recently. I've
Okay.
cleans today, and I actually whacked my hand on it, so it's still a little bit touch and go. But with the hook instead, like, because I can dump it. Well, I can try and dump it. I can't say it's being very successful. Because it's like open-ended, like I can actually kind of a little bit go. So that's something new that we're trying to figure out.
So snatches are on the way. Is there any other movements that you, so like, for example, handstands?
Handstand. I'm absolutely fine with handstands.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm quite lucky with the fact that my arms are actually the same length. Not like I can move my arm up for some reason. That shoulder just does not want to go today.
That's your bad shoulder, right?
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with it today. It's took a bit of a brutal time. We had wall balls and rowing and cleans today, so
oh, nice. Perfect combo.
Yeah, my arms are similar, the same length, so when I do a handstand, and I can actually put pressure on there as well.
Yeah, so you have wrist flexion as well, so you can.
Yeah, it's basically just the palm of my hand. It's just really small, so there's not as much to balance on, but there is, like, I can do handstands, so stuff like that isn't an issue. I reckon one day I'd be able to do like handstand walks, but I've seen the girl do it, so I know it's possible.
It can be done.
Waiting for her to teach me. But yeah, like rig work was where we were kind of struggling. We weren't struggling, like I've got a hook, so I was using that, and that's how I've always done it, like through bodybuilding, from like trying to do pull-ups that way, and I just assumed I was maybe too heavy, so that's why I couldn't get up in like a kipping movement. I just didn't have the strength for it, basically. But since going to the games and seeing like that all the other athletes are basically using an elbow strap instead,
yeah,
so strap off the rig and then using the elbow, a lot of the other people are using that, and we tried it and basically got like pull-ups, and now I've got pull-ups all of a sudden.
Wow.
And toast bar, so they're not very good, like I say, but it means that
the foundations are there.
Yeah, it means that I can get a bit more of a kipping swing on it. Like when I was using the hook, I was maybe not getting the full kip out of it because it was maybe falling off, or you just weren't getting the right motion with it or something. Whereas this has really helped, and I've been able to do it this way. Yeah, it's looking up. I still need to lose a little bit of weight to get myself up there. But
some lockdown weight. I think that's the same for us all, really. Lockdown weight.
Any body weight.
We've been out of lockdown for ages. I've still been using that excuse for ages.
I will. I'll use it for like the rest of my life.
At least another couple of years. Yeah. So in regards to, obviously, because there is an issue with like sort of symmetry, how have you tackled that? So for example, a guy I follow, you probably know him, Logan Aldridge.
Yes.
Yeah, absolute beast. Like I'm watching him like climb a rope and do like some clean and jerks. It's like, oh my god, this is so much more impressive than the action.
102 kilo single arm clean and jerk.
That's nuts. What the hell? But that's the thing. Like, I'm watching these guys. I'm like, I'd much prefer this than the individuals, to be honest with you. Well, the individuals are weak in comparison.
That's what I'm thinking. Like after obviously showing us at the CrossFit Games, and like we were obviously the 3 days before, so there wasn't many people. Like the Tuesday, was it the Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday and Wednesday, they were a little bit quieter, and then the Thursday kind of picked up a little bit. But the amount of coverage that the CrossFit Games showed, like on their Instagram, Noble showed quite a lot on their page as well, and like just everything. I can assume that next year, I reckon people will probably come down early to watch the adaptive category. 100%. Yeah. Like,
oh, absolutely. If I could have flown to America, I'm sure I would have gone and watched the CrossFit Games. But
like,
apparently, us regular English people ain't allowed over there at the minute.
Oh no. Even people that maybe like don't deal with adaptive people as well. I reckon they've seen this and been like, this is quite impressive, this category. We need to go and watch it. Like there was that video of a girl who was in the lower extremity category. She's called Amy Bream, I think. Her Instagram name is One Leg to Stand On.
Yeah. I was trying to think of a name because I've got her on Instagram, One Leg to Stand On. I was like, I forgot her name, because you sort of just remember people by their Instagram names now, didn't you?
Yeah, her Instagram name is brilliant though. Like,
yeah, One Leg to Stand On.
Some of it stays there, but that video of her doing the clean and then like, well, basically failing it and trying to do the push press, I swear it got like 36 million views.
Yeah,
it was something ridiculous, and it was making the rounds everywhere. So obviously, like stuff like that has made it shown, like our adaptive category. Logan's clean and jerk, that made the rounds when he did that 102. I'm sure I saw it on his page, and then on like Squat University, and then on like, you know, like random sites, but it's showing like the adaptive category and showing it out there a bit. So yeah,
it's definitely gaining traction. I think like even from last year to this year, and I think next year is going to be even bigger. And yeah, as you say, you watch it, and I just felt so much more inspired than watching the regular games. I was like, yeah, guys, you're nothing. You've got all your limbs.
My coach Rick, basically, he keeps saying, I just want like one of the individual athletes to go against some of the adaptive ones and just show how good they actually are.
I would be interested, like for me, because obviously with what I do, I've tried to do some of the workouts like as if I've got like a missing arm or something like that. Try to do a one-arm burpee, man. It's not fun. That's not fun.
When I'd injured my shoulder, I tried to do a one-arm burpee myself, and it just was not going well. Yeah. It wasn't. So even me, I was like, meh. But he said like we'd probably have the upper advantage. Say it was like we did in the open, 150 dumbbell snatches on one side. Obviously it went 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, but it ends up 150 in the end. Like trying to do all of that on one arm, like I struggled because I try and use both arms as much as possible. So, but people who say just use that one arm and they can literally only use one dumbbell, they're going to have a massive advantage on, say, like people that may be swapping it, or me who was trying to make it equal and use like a kettlebell and whacking myself on the other side. So it'd be so interesting to see like the individuals do like a single arm dumbbell workout against an adaptive person. It just shows how strong
I could definitely see something like that coming up.
It'd be so good.
Even if it's not at the games, it'll be like, you know, like a one-off WOD or something like that. Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be amazing.
Even Casey, he's called Casey Acree on Instagram. He won the male upper category.
Yes, I know about it.
His final workout, so event 7, we did it in the Coliseum, and I think it was like 30 pistols and then 10 dumbbell thrusters, and then it went down to like, I can't remember. Basically, it went down and there was 5 different rounds of it. So it was like 30, and then it was like 24, and then it was like 18, and I don't know. It kept going down like that, and then the thrusters went down as well. But he did it in like 3 minutes. Like, he did how many like pistols in and dumbbell thrusters in 3 minutes? Like his pistols, he literally was doing them like they were just bodyweight squats.
It's nothing.
That it was like people doing Murph. Like that's how fast he was doing them, and I was like, what the hell is going on?
Jeez.
It was absolutely crazy, but it'd be so interesting to see like an individual athlete try and do that workout
just either like on one side or
against like a upper extremity category, like because all we have is like our legs, so all of our movements are going to be very leg based or one shoulder based, which it in some ways for me it's a bit annoying because I do have another arm there, so it means that I've just got to work on that one arm. I'll just be very one-sided for like ever now, until they make a 2 point of contact category. and then I'll be all right. But yeah, it just be
So what I'm sorry, we sort of veered off a little bit from the question about symmetry. No, I think it was me as well. I started going on about other stuff. No, but about symmetry. So with yourself, obviously, how have you adapted your training to have that symmetry where you can't do certain movements? So I was using Logan Aldridge as an example because
then
I went off as well. But no, he uses certain exercises to make sure his workout's balanced, because we all know if you just pick one favorite exercise and do that all the time, you're going to end up injuring yourself. So is there anything in particular you've had to adapt in your training in order to maintain that symmetry throughout?
Not really.
No?
I think, like I said, because I'm quite, my arms are both quite similar length, it means that I row with, say, a hook, or when I ski, I basically use one of them D-rings, so I can do ski on both sides, so that's absolutely fine. Pull-ups, obviously, we've changed them now to the elbow one, but I can actually do strict pull-ups with just my hook, so it's pretty much the same on that side. I use basically a hook, so everything is just any pulling movements pretty much the same, and pushing movements like barbell work, I can do all that, and it's absolutely fine.
So you make sure you get all your strict movements in. Obviously, with your gymnastic stuff, like if you're doing kipping pull-ups and stuff like that,
yeah, it's just kind of what we have in the program anyway. And I just do exactly the same. I just do the classes, and that's probably one of the main disadvantages I had to go into the games, was the fact that I'm doing all the classes, and not because you're doing CrossFit classes, but because I've been doing exactly the same classes as an able-bodied person, and I've been doing exactly the same as able-bodied people. So when it was say dumbbell cleans, I was maybe doing 10 on one side and then 10 on the other side, whacking myself with a kettlebell. So I was trying to make it very even each side, which is probably something that's disadvantaged me now, because everyone was doing it on one side when we got to the games, and we were a little bit oh god,
damn it, I've not practiced for this. So how have you found the coaches at your gym? Have they been pretty good in sort of coming up with creative ways for you to scale the movements or do them in a certain way?
So when I first started, I did my fundamentals, you've got to do at the CrossFit gym.
Your foundation course.
I did it with Rick, who's he owns the gym and he's the head coach. And
I do actually, I do follow him on Instagram as it happens. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Just a big, hairy, muscly dude.
Like a typical CrossFitter then.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I did my fundamentals with him, he basically told me about a woman called Hawkins, who
I follow her as well. Yeah, I know.
Who's in the UK, obviously, who's another upper extremity category person. So he already followed her, and he saw a lot of things that maybe of what she was doing, but he was very much we were going through fundamentals, and we were a bit yeah, we're not sure how we're going to do this, but we'll figure it out, and that's okay. So he was very open arms, he seemed very willing to just try and find a way, and he was just any sort of CrossFit coach, if you say you've got an injury somewhere, they'll try and find you something else to do, the same sort of stimulus, and that's basically what he was for me. But now I just tend to do my own thing, but everyone is still really, really great. So the other day what did we have? We had push press, but we were doing them alternating arms, like this. And I usually use a kettlebell, but I didn't fancy putting a 16 kilo kettlebell above my head. Sometimes I can just be like that. I was just being really awkward. And the coach was basically just use a band on that side. So I was okay, that works. So I was doing like a dumbbell this side and then just strict pressing a band on this side, but it still worked.
There's nothing wrong with bands. Like during lockdown, because I think at the start of lockdown, that's when like gym equipment went shoom, like price wise. I was like, oh crap. Lucky enough, I had some stuff because I was PT anyway. But I was like, right, I can't go to the gym. I need some like barbells. I need some other stuff as well, which I ended up kitting out my garage. Ended up making that as my gym, and that's where I train all my clients now as well. So, which is quite handy. It's sort of like a blessing in disguise. Yeah, I used like my commute to work is literally 3 seconds flat, like out the door. Beat all the traffic because I worked for my brother beforehand because I had to sort of like jump out of PT for a little bit and go and work for my brother, and I was down the docks as a mechanic for a while, and so like the first day at work I was like, I messaged him and said, oh my god, the commute to work this morning was dreadful, and like I messaged him a picture of like Google Maps and it's literally like 2 seconds.
My dad was exactly the same because he's been working at home for like however long. He's literally in the room next door to me. But he does the same. He'll be like, well, I'm off to work. I go and he just walks upstairs.
Walks to his desk. Right, I'm at work.
He makes the same joke every day and I probably go.
That's what dads are for though, dad jokes.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. So I completely forgot what the next question was. I had it in my head. It's gone. It's absolutely gone. What was we talking about? CrossFit. Bands, that was it. Bands, yeah. So I just went and bought a load of bands, and like I just got very creative with my programming. I remember once I done like a whole workout with just a tea towel. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing! Like I was just doing like isometric movements with a tea towel, and I was like, I've got a pretty decent pump on just from like something out of my kitchen. So yeah, it's quite good. And then like, especially with
we all adapted during that time, didn't we?
Yeah, definitely. And I really did enjoy the online classes, and because I was sort of doing online classes for an S&C gym, and it was it sort of developed me more as a coach and how to, as you say, be a bit more adaptive and like, right, okay, a new person's come to my class, they've never trained before, they've got no equipment, right, we're doing a kettlebell workout. What you got? Have you got a bag? Have you got this? Have you got a water bottle? So you're just sort of like getting a bit creative with stuff. And I remember I had some guy on there. He was doing a push press with a futon. So it's literally just pressing a sofa over his head. I was like, this is awesome. This is so cool.
Brilliant.
Yeah, but yeah, as I say, like it was sort of like I was just getting people to grab tea towels, and they was giving me funny looks and like, I'm not too sure. Tea towels, is this going to work? But yeah, no, it did. It did. I think people was quite surprised. Yeah. So tell me, Charlotte, what motivates you? What motivates you other than CrossFit?
Other than CrossFit.
Other than CrossFit, what? So fitness. Obviously, you do this. You're inadvertently inspiring people. Is that one of your goals, to inspire people?
Yeah. I saw a post the other day that a guy that was basically adaptive, he just kind of put like, if you are an adaptive athlete now in the industry, like you have got like, you now have the power to make it better for people in the future. And I was literally like, that is so true. Like honestly, that'd be the goal. Like I basically said to someone the other day that if you think of like UK upper extremity athletes, you'd probably think of me and Luby Hawkins, and that is it. Like I do know a few others now from doing like from doing different things, but like especially in CrossFit or like sort of training wise, you'd probably just think of us too. And it'd be nice to think that in like next year or in a few years that there would be a lot more from that, or like there would be a CrossFit comp in the UK that has an adaptive category as well, even if it was like a mixed adaptive category. Like it's more than what we've got now, so yeah, that'd be quite cool. But
I think you definitely, as you just said there, like if you think about adaptive athletes in the UK, I can't really think of any others.
So I know a few others. So I know like a girl called Annika, and I can't remember what the other woman was called. Basically, they just did the Open, So when I looked at the scores, they were there in the open. And I've made friends with like Annika as well. So I think we should go and do pairs comp. I think we should go and do like a random pairs comp and just turn up and we're both adaptive. And I think it's just absolutely brilliant.
What, and not tell them, just turn up?
Like, well, I think you'd have to maybe tell them, but imagine like the looks from like the other competitors as you coming out and they're being like, these girls are adaptive, and she's the one that can actually handstand walk as well. So like, I just need to get a few more things and I'll be all right. So we'll just do like a scaled plus comp and they'll be like, these girls, surely not. And we'll be like, oh.
Yeah, I think that'll be.
I was going to try and keep it to myself, but I can't help it. I just keep learning from.
But that was so awesome. Imagine just doing that.
Tell you which comp.
Say that again, sorry?
I said I won't tell you which comp.
No, you have to tell us at some point because I might travel about and I might come and watch. That'd be awesome. Just to go in like two adaptive athletes going in a regular competition and absolutely wiping the floor of them all, and everyone's just like, can we really complain? Can we say this is unfair? No, you can't. Exactly.
The only thing that we'd probably struggle with is if maybe they said like, oh yeah, we're doing loads of dumbbell movements, like hang clean and jerks or something like that, and we're like, fuck, we've got it all on one side. Or like my lifting's not the best, for instance. Like obviously the fact that I've got to use devices all the time and they all go against me. Mm-hmm. not made my lifting any easier. So it's something that I've got to work on. I know it is. So that's probably a way, like, we wouldn't maybe do the best, but we'd certainly try and maybe stir, like, I don't even know, not stir, but like basically just turn heads.
Yeah, I mean, even you. So is there anything at the moment, adaptive athlete in the UK wise competition that you know of?
I don't think so. I was speaking to someone. We did like the CrossFit meetup. They did a meetup on. It was a week ago actually today.
Okay.
And basically Eric Rosa came and there was loads of CrossFit affiliates and stuff, and they invited us down for like to say well done for making it to the games basically. And I was just speaking to like a few other people while we were there, and someone mentioned that there was a comp that did an adaptive and able-bodied, I don't know what to say, category. So like it was a pairs category, but one person was adaptive and one person wasn't basically. Mm-hmm. But I don't think they said that they do it anymore. But that was the only category that I've ever heard of. It all seems to be very American. So, yeah. Or there's one next year that I think is called Barcelona, which is in Barcelona, and they've got an adaptive category.
Okay.
It's quite nice. It's like obviously we're speaking about motivations. Mm-hmm. I'll get back to the actual question. Like I do really enjoy proving people wrong. Mm-hmm. And it's like one of my favourite things to do. Like if you looked at me and you thought, right, she can do what tells to bar or pull-ups or something, it'd be nice for me to actually turn up to like a normal comp and then be like, what the hell? And I'll just go, yeah, got it. I think that'd be amazing.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think a bit of my motivation is just like showing people like we can actually do it. So it was amazing to watch. My friend, he's called Xavi, is from Spain. Basically, he didn't have anyone to like. Start again. We hired a car when we were in the games, and he didn't have like a way of getting to the CrossFit Games or traveling around and stuff, and he was by himself for the first few days. So because I'd spoke to him online, I was literally like, oh, just jump in with us, absolutely fine. And we actually ended up becoming like quite good friends over the course of the week and stuff, and he came training with us sometimes at some of the gyms. And cool. There's actually a video of him doing, I think he's doing bar muscle ups with his like attachment, and in the background you can just see Fikowski just absolutely like being like, what the hell is going on? And he's just absolutely amazed by it in the background, and it's such a nice like video to see, because like just the games athlete just absolutely being like, what? And
How?
yeah, he reposted him a few times actually on his story, being like, this guy was incredible. Like, I saw him in the gym and he's amazing. So yeah, it was nice to, even though like to me it's still amazing. Like, he can do handstand walks and all sorts, and I think it's absolutely incredible. But at the same time, like it's like bittersweet, because I kind of think, right, well, why are you assuming that we couldn't do this? I kind of wish that like it was, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's the sort of that's what's been built up over time, and I think as the games does progress and the adaptive category does progress, we're going to start to break down them barriers of these sort of misconceptions of like, oh, this person can't do this X, Y, Z. So I'll write this article for a magazine in America as well, and I talk a lot about disabilities. And the recent one I've done, so I've got a guy I train, he's got cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
And he's a young lad, 17 years old. And I wrote about the story. And so he comes to one of my classes where I train able-bodied people. And he was running, and he just face planted. He face planted hard. And everyone just like gasped and was like, whoa, what's happened? Like, should we do something? Should we go and help him? I've trained with this guy for years. I knew he was fine. I knew he was probably going to get back up and carry on running, which he did. And everyone was like, oh my God, like he just carried on with the workout. I was like, that's the thing. Like you see him as someone that's disabled or unable to do these things, but he's just a normal guy. He's just got this condition he lives with. He knows how to manage it. He's not going to explode the second he falls over. And I think that's what people sort of think, that just because you've got a disability, a limb difference, or any of these different things, that you're not capable of doing something an able body is, but you are, but just in an alternative or an adaptive way.
Yeah.
But hopefully that's my goal anyway. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to break down these barriers. And I have had people come up to me and said, I've read your article, or I've seen your videos, or I've seen you train with this person, and oh my God, like it's just changed my views completely. And that's actually the title of the column was changing views one faceplant at a time.
Like, you've got to look at it like, say, the Paralympics and the Olympics. Like, I've seen a lot of posts recently, and I didn't actually realise. So the word Paralympics. Say it right, Charlotte. Paralympics. It obviously a lot of people think it's because you were like maybe paralysed, and it's probably the reason that I thought it was called the Paralympics as well. But it actually means para, as in like in line with. So it's in line with the Olympics. It's not it is a completely different competition, but it's actually in line with it, and it's not just like the disabled Olympics.
Yeah. Which I think, that would be probably quite an offensive name. The disabled Olympics. Yeah.
Exactly. It's the Paralympics. But the way, like, I found that so interesting to watch. I don't know if it's from me being an adaptive person myself, and I had to stop watching it because I got so emotional from something, and I was like, oh, just stop. But I found that so much more interesting to watch.
Yeah.
And like them even doing like 200-meter sprint, like it's just so like mind, like, oh my God, I just can't. I can't even
how these people have sort of like, as you say, adapted and overcome whatever they've been.
It's so much more like interesting to watch than the normal Olympics, and I think that's just maybe because I'm an adaptive person myself.
No, I completely agree. Hence why I'm in the job that I'm in.
Makes sense. But like I think a lot of people say a lot about ableism, which is a term that I've only recently found out about. But it's basically
I say it's not a new term, but it's something that's sort of like come to surface a bit more, I think.
Definitely. Like it's like me, for instance, on TikTok getting asked, can you tie your shoes? And automatically assuming, right, you're missing a hand, can you not tie your shoes? Or can you not use a knife and fork? Like, and it's stuff like that. Like that are just normal everyday tasks that we can perfectly do, and I've been able to do the whole of my life, but it's basically like me like saying that we can't do it is we're a certain way. But yeah.
So would you prefer people asking them questions, or would you like people to do research beforehand and before asking them questions?
I don't mind them asking the questions, because I do understand, especially when they're like maybe younger people, like younger kids and stuff. They're just basically interested, but at the same time, like it is a little bit like repetitive over and over again. And yeah, you just get a little bit sick of it sometimes. You're just like, do you really think that I can't eat because I am missing a hand? Or do you really think that because I'm missing a hand, I can't dress myself in the morning? Or do you know what I mean? You're just a little bit like, maybe just think. Just do a bit of thinking and just be like, right, yeah, she may be missing a few fingers, but I'm sure she's able to do this. Like when someone breaks an arm, you're not incapable of doing everything in your whole entire life again.
I mean, it's obviously
a little bit different.
It's a little bit different, yeah. So, like, I mean, if I've hurt my arm or hurt my hand or something, and you'd sort of go, "Oh, actually, I do use this arm quite a lot," like, and you sort of notice these little things. But I mean, if you was born with it, or you've
born like this,
I don't know any different. This is just how I do it. And like, how do you do it with two hands?
Exactly. It'd be weird for me to have two hands. Like if you said next week, right, Charlie, you're gonna have two hands next week, I'd be like, what is this contraption? How do I use this? I have no idea. And I probably wouldn't use it. Like I'd probably still be doing
you forget it's there. You're like, oh, I got this.
Oh, this thing here. I forgot about this one. And
if you had that, so I always like to ask people this. So if you had the option to have a hand, would you?
I always I get asked this a lot. I think it's quite a common question.
It's quite a common question, yeah, definitely.
When I was probably younger, like when I was in my teens, I would have jumped at the chance to have another hand. I think, in fact, at one point, probably looked how to have like a hand transplant or something, which is ridiculous.
Is that not possible?
I think it is. But yeah, back then I absolutely resented it. Whereas now I think it makes me. Like I don't think I'd be the same person without it.
Yeah.
And I think like in some probably quite selfish way, it's helping me out a lot in like my career itself. Like,
use it.
Exactly. I've got it there.
Milk.
Like, use it. Milk it for all it's worth.
Milk it.
But yeah, so I probably wouldn't. Not now.
Yeah, no, and I think that's quite a common sort of response off of anyone, as you say, with like a limb difference or with a disability. Like the response is the same. They said like, yeah, you know what, I'd like to try it for a little bit, but I don't think I would stay that way. I'd like to go back. And one of the guys I had on here said that if he wasn't disabled, he'd probably still be an athlete, but he wouldn't have been half the person that he is today because of all the lessons he's been taught by having a disability or being in a wheelchair. And
I think I probably still would have been quite athletic, but I probably would have taken more risks when I was younger if I would have had a hand.
Yeah.
I think when I was at school, I was always really scared to try things because I was always scared of failing. And I thought, well, I won't be able to do that. That's not possible for me. I never even thought that I'd be able to be in the Paralympics until 2 years ago. Like, I genuinely thought I'm just one of them unfortunate people that have a disability, but it's just not quite good enough.
It's not one of the cool disabilities.
No, I was like, it's just one of... I don't even class myself as disabled. Like, I probably am, but
no, it's something it's something you was born with, so it's something that you've always had. So it's completely
I don't know
normal.
why, but I always see it as quite a negative word. And I really shouldn't. I'm learning.
What's that, disabled?
Yeah, I'm learning to become a bit better with it. But it always was one of them words where I was a bit like, it's kind of in itself, it's just saying you're disabled to do something, and I'm not. Like, I can do everything exactly the same as everyone else. It's not an issue.
So what word would you use or prefer to be used? Because obviously you say limb difference, but obviously
or I say adaptive probably.
Yeah, I quite like adaptive. I quite like the word adaptive. But then
I do use the term disabled occasionally, just like
it's what we're taught.
It kind of it summarizes it, but I like always assumed like disabled people were in wheelchairs, or do you know what I mean? It's something like that. It's not what I am, but I'm getting a lot better with it. So
yeah, and I think the word disability, it does have that umbrella, doesn't it, where like a lot of categories fit under that umbrella of being disabled, whether that's learning disabilities, whether that's, as we said, like motor skills or anything like that, or limb difference, or it all fits under that category. But each of these categories are very different on their own. Like working with someone, for example, with like autism, like a very could be very difficult, or working with groups of people with autism. But working with someone that's got CP or cerebral palsy, like it's a lot different. You'll approach that client or that athlete slightly different. And so I think we're all learning these new words and what would be the best word to use. But no, I do like the word adaptive.
I think it does, like it summarizes it quite well, because it's not like right, you're not able to do this, you've just adapted to it in a different way. That's all.
Hashtag adaptive. Let's push the word. Awesome. Charlotte, you've been amazing today. Thank you so much for joining me. I feel like we could talk forever. I've got so much more I'd love to talk about, but I'm sure I've taken a lot of your time now. I'm excited to see where you are next year. I think you're going to do amazing things, and especially with your training. And I just want to, and obviously once you're a famous CrossFit athlete, adaptive athlete. And I'll message you, and then obviously I'll see that you've seen it, and then don't reply. Like, I'm going to be mega bummed out. So just don't forget us. I'm joking. Cool. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'd love to have you on again, like in the future, to see where you've progressed and how far you've got on, and if you've come up with some new ideas of how to train and how to adapt movements and that. So awesome. Thank you so much.
It's all right.
Charlotte, have a great day, and I'll speak to you soon. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.